What's up?
What's up?
You wanna go?
Always.
All right.
We're boxing.
Good morning. I need a nap, but we need to get this hoopty down from the roof, so I'm gonna work on that. We have had a pile of new viewers coming to the channel over the past few months. So if you guys don't know, this is my 1968 Camaro that Dad got me for my 14th birthday. He traded it for my junior dragster that we had, and we've been working on restoring it. Now, it hasn't been down from this lift in the past year, but this week, we've got to take it down, get the rear suspension and the front suspension / subframe out, because this car is leaving next week for Montana to go up to a buddy's to get the bodywork all finished and get the floor pans finished and get it painted. So what our plan is we're going to do Rocky Mountain Race Week next year with this Camaro and Dad's Camaro, hopefully. So we've really kind of got to hustle and get it done so that we can actually make that happen. I am going to start by dropping the fuel tank. Okay, so we have the fuel tank out of it. My GoPro's acting up, so I'm not completely sure if I got that footage. But basically, what the plan today is we're going to get the lift down. Max is going to bring some hydraulic fluid when he comes in for work. And I'm going to get the front fenders off and start disconnecting brake lines and all of that stuff. We're going to leave the subframe in it until the day that Ray comes. But there's 4 bolts holding the subframe in. So that's not going to be too hard. And we're going to have everything sprayed down with WD-40 so it is ready to come apart. I do need to order a new rear floor pan to Ray's shop for him because this one is kind of junk. Yeah, that's not bueno. This side's alright though. First time it's been down from the roof in over a year. Hello, Camaro. How you doing? Hello, Camaro. Yes, you are a very pretty car. So, that bit back there needs to be fixed in this floor pan, and that's all going to happen while it's up in Montana. And yeah, I'm really going to try and get it done for race week this year. I think it's possible. I hope it's possible. Because Dad said yes, and we're also going to race his Camaro, and Heather's going to drive. So, yeah. Also, airplane. I'm gonna have to find something to hold this up, but I'm just gonna disconnect the hood so that it can be taken off. Then the fenders have to come off so that I can get to all the steering and suspension stuff and start to disconnect that. I need to find a moving blanket to lay over the top of the car, so that way I can set the hood on top of it and it's not going to hurt the hood or hurt the car at all. Bingo. Found a moving blanket. We're going to lay it over the roof, and that way the hood can just sit on the roof and it doesn't have to be taking up any more room in the shop. Just busting everything loose well before I hit it with the impact, that way I don't hurt anything. Left-hand hood hinge, and there is 2 bolts holding the fender on left. Yes, sir.
Are you on the video?
Yes, sir.
Oh, right, okay. So are we on the video?
Yes, sir.
Bill from England here, just looking at McKailen's project. You'll have to edit that. And he's busy working on it. He's been up before me. I've got a little bit of jet lag. And it looks like he's doing a great job. But it's overfacing me just looking at it. But he's excited about the project. Bye for now.
Bye for now. Bam, we're fenderless. Wow, this is really accessible now. Nice. These are all of the bolts that I took out of the left-hand fender. So I'm gonna run over here, get a little Ziploc baggie, and put them all in. That way I don't lose them, and I'm gonna label it left-hand fender. That way, when it's going back together, I have all the parts and pieces and bits that I need to put it together, hopefully correctly. Minor details there. Next, I think we're gonna take off this core support because I don't think that's going with Ray to Montana. Yeah, he hasn't texted me back, but I don't think that's going with him. It needs to come off the subframe anyways, so. 1 core support hole. I think I also have new ones of these with the kit that I bought that's sitting under the car, but I'm still going to save everything in case I need it. Where's my breaker bar? Breaker bar.
She could visit anywhere along the border. The fact is, they put their head in the sand. They've abandoned us along the border.
Meanwhile, after Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and migrant
miles of a river border, and what Vice President Harris would see is the constant that are coming all day long, every single day, like clockwork, and delivering with the efficiency of your Amazon package arriving on your doorstep. And these migrants are not just Central Americans seeking asylum.
Where we are at right now, the subframe has 4 bolts. We're not going to take those out. Dad's going to take them out when Ray comes to pick up the car. But I do need to get all the brake lines and stuff disconnected first. That way it's ready for the subframe to come out. The steering arm also needs to be disconnected. And basically, it needs to be really ready for everything for the subframe to come out. I'm going through and I'm gonna try and take this off because I need to take a picture of the spindle and send it to one of my buddies so that we can get brakes figured out for this car. I think I have to take this apart because it looks like there's another bolt up here that goes into this spindle. This car.
Stop.
I thought you were giving me a high five.
No, I said stop because that's what breaks me.
Got it. Now, hit it with the Ugga Dugga. As I'm putting this back together, I'm going to kind of explain what I'm doing and how to do it. Granted, I am not an expert. I am not claiming to be an expert, but I took this apart and I'm sure I'm going to be able to put it back together properly. So, just a fair bit of warning there. First off, we still have this connected to the frame, so we'll slide this piece back over to the spindle, hook it up, and then there's a big bolt that goes through right here. This one, it's a 24 millimeter, I think. It's a 24 millimeter bolt. So we'll put this back in the spindle and Ugga Dugga it in. I'm sure there are torque specifications on this, but since these aren't the brakes I'm going to use, it's just going to sit in the shop. I'm not going to torque it down, but when you're doing it, you should look up and find the proper torque specifications so that you don't end up hurt. Next up, we have these two 19mm bolts that go through the bottom part of the spindle here. Then there's a nut that goes on the back of each. Over here, when doing this, there is a piece of the steering that you're gonna have to hook back up. So this piece right here is part of the tie rods and all of that stuff for the steering. So I am going to have to hook this back up, but I'm gonna need both hands, so I gotta set the camera down. One ugga and a dugga. There's this little piece that looks like a wing. That goes back on here. You push these shoes back in towards the first nut that we put in, because those are going to need to be on there for the brakes to actually work. Now we put this little wing back on, and there's this piece, I don't really know what it's called. It hooks up right down here, and then it has to hook around this center nut. So it's kind of going to be a pain to get it on here. I hooked that back up. Now there's two springs that have to be hooked up, but we're going to go to lunch, and I will do this when I get back. Good morning, it is another day. I've gotten the springs reattached. That was a pain that fought me for a while. Got this big drum here that needs to go back on. So, take this nut off that holds the drum onto the spindle, and we'll slide this back on.
He's struggling. Plus another tall head.
Okay, so you are supposed to do something special with wheel bearings, but since it's not going to go on the road like this, I'm just going to put it back together. Okay, now there is a cotter pin that has to go through here. I just don't know where it went. Now we'll put the tire back on so that it's safer than balancing on a jack.
Oh yeah, dude, we got that Carolina squat going on.
These are my new valve covers for my motor. That's bougie. Alright, those are sick. Okay, let me get them all the way out of the package.
You just put them
That is sick. Check that out. New valve covers. Dad, check this out.
Whoa!
Those are nice, buddy.
What's that for?
That motor for my Camaro. My initial idea was I'm going to make a video dedicated to going through all of this stuff for the inventory taking of my Camaro. And I realized that would be a boring, terrible video. So, my plan is I'm going to set up a nice time lapse, make a list, and then you guys can see how pretty it is when I'm done, and there's not this giant mess of Camaro parts. So, let's do that. I have made a lot of progress. So, these two bins are filled all with Camaro parts. This is where I'm going to be putting all these Ziploc baggies of nuts and stuff I take off the car, and these two are kind of miscellaneous junk. Over here, this car for some reason came with a bunch of Chevy truck parts and 70s Camaro parts. So, those parts are in that bin. I do have a spare bin, and then old floor pan stuff, and weather stripping that's all going to get thrown away because I'm just going to replace it and not try and bother with all of that stuff. Then up here is all of the long things like grills, doors, bumpers, all that stuff. I have a double-paged thing of notes that I've got to put in my notebook of everything that I've found, but I'm happy with the pile of progress. Up here, I am also hoping to clear a bunch of this stuff out so that all the boxes of parts that I've bought can go up here on this shelf. So, I'm going to work on finishing all of this stuff up. So there's this spline right here that connects up to the steering. If you move it, it will impact the steering. See, the bar is moving. But that's all we're gonna do for now. I just need to make sure all the brake lines and everything are disconnected for the front subframe. We're going to leave it in the car. There's only 3 bolts holding it in right now until Ray is on his way. That way we don't make a mess in the shop. I do believe this car was jerry-rigged together before I had it, because I'm here disconnecting this fuel line that runs back to the back right here, and these are drywall screws holding it in. Not how it's supposed to be done, people. Please do not use drywall screws, especially on a 1968 Camaro. You might look at this and wonder, McKailen, you've got the car literally sitting on a lift. Why don't you just lift it up to get to those brake lines? Because I'm not smart enough for that, okay? Let me do things the hard way. Ow. We're disconnecting these brake lines back here, and they're fighting me every step of the way. So I've got myself a pile of tools, an ugga-dugga, and they will come loose somehow. And I grabbed the wrong socket. Hey, that socket will work. Okay, it is technically disconnected from the chassis. Guess it should be. Okay, that is going to be a wrap on episode 4? 5? I'm not really sure what episode this is of restoring a 1968 Camaro. We have to go racing tomorrow, which those videos will already be up from Dallas by the time you guys see this. But, yeah, there's a new project coming soon, which I'm excited to show you guys. And when I am here next, the subframe will be out of it, the rear suspension will be out of it, and this car will be shipped off to Montana, and it's going to be painted and get the floor pans done. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all those YouTube-y things, and never give up.